to Savepoint, a show on the internet where we talk about video game topics suggested by you, the viewers, using hashtag Savepoint on YouTube, Twitter, and miscellaneous things. My name is Ryan Shepard.
I'm Michael Anthony Torres.
I'm Hunter Taylor.
So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Topics suggested by you, starting with Hunter.
First is Aaron Brown on Twitter. Character customization, what makes good or bad, and your favorite and least favorite examples.
Ooh. I feel like it's the same one for me because like I love like balls out customization like in Skyrim or something, but I also loathe it because it's like okay,
Then there's too much.
It's too much. At some point, I just want to play the game.
Yeah.
And whatever happened to like face cap modeling, like they did in that what is it? They didn't like go. They didn't like
they did in Rainbow
in
Six.
Vegas, yeah.
Yeah. What happened was people realized
Penis
that they
faces,
could
yes.
penis faces.
Why you got the penis face, guys? There's no matrix to detect penises.
I would imagine that that's not high up on the list of things people want to code.
They should have known though.
A dick sensor, like, no, if the Kinect had that built in, no, that's a PP. Cut that out. Put that back in there. And the Kinect would refer to it as a PP.
You know, they probably should have. Honestly, anyone who did that probably should be on a sex offender list because they just flashed thousands of children.
Yeah.
What was it?
But I mean, you could just show your dick with impunity. But
Okay, favorite example of character customization.
I know my least favorite. For favorite, I like Skyrim's. I like Oblivion's. I like Saints Row. Saints Row had a pretty good character customization. Similar to Skyrim, where you have to customize everything, but you can just skip stuff or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
It's really hard to find the sweet spot. Sorry to interrupt you, but it's like my character looks like a fucking alien. I don't know how to make him not.
I know my least favorite is definitely GTA Online's character customization. I do not like it.
I hear it's pretty weak.
well, you don't even customize.
good.
You just like generate a plan.
Yeah, there's
wow.
okay, you choose your grandma and your grandpa, and then it kind of generates your parents, and you have to choose a list of options from there, and then all the characters for some reason end up looking similar anyway, like regardless. So
it doesn't make any sense. You only pick one set of grandparents. You need two sets of grandparents to give you each of your parents.
Yeah, I don't know. Where's Saints Row fall in your spectrum?
Okay, I think the first two Saints Rows had really good character customization. Like you could wear shirts and undershirts and then shirts on top of that and then a jacket on top of that. And then the third game, like I get just the whole stylistic approach to that game changed so dramatically. So I get why that was gone. But it was still good customization. I still really enjoyed that. I enjoyed it enough to the point where there's a point in Saints Row 3 where if you're playing as a male character, you have to get a sex change because you have to seduce some businessman. And I did that, and then I was like, I guess I'm just going to be a woman from now on. Because I was just okay with the custom. Like, I was like, women have a bunch of customization too. I'm okay with that. And I was just some redhead with impossibly huge boobs.
Like boobs.
No, like you have the slider, the sex appeal slider, and you put it all the way to 100, and you're like, there's no way. You don't function in daily life with those.
It's rough.
That didn't stop me from jumping out of buildings and beating people with
in,
dildos.
In Saints Row 3, my guy was basically just Jason Statham, because I used the British
Yeah.
voice, and it's just Jason Statham, and like he had like a ponytail and a beard, and it was pretty badass.
I was Troy Baker, obviously.
Yeah.
Obvi, of course.
What would your least favorite though?
Oh my god, my least
I'm trying to
favorite?
think of that too.
My least favorite, and I don't know, I honestly can't think of any off the top of my head. Actually, no, I can't.
I know mine.
Mine is Fable. The second Fable, like Fable 2 and Fable 3.
I forgot
Because
about
it's
that.
one of those, like, if you're going to allow me to customize my character, don't put in a handful of options and just say, look at all the options, because you can get the same thing, but now you dyed it red.
Yeah.
Or now you dyed it. No,
Okay.
It's the same ugly coat.
Here's mine. Worst customization ever, I don't care, is World of Warcraft. Especially if it's humans. Like, no matter how you do your human, you still look like a Cro-Magnon, like, freaking...
Yeah, humans are ugly.
Yeah, they're not only ugly, but they look like Homo sapiens, not Homo sapiens sapiens. Like, there's an evolutionary step miss.
Before us?
Yes, the just before us.
And dude, thank goodness thank goodness I'm taking Intro to Forensic Anthropology and Archaeology.
Yeah!
So I got that Homo sapiens sapien reference.
Or if you're Magneto, Homo sapiens superior.
Is that what...
That's what he refers to the mutants as.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. All right. I get you.
Yeah, I never played WoW, but I never liked the character models anyway.
Well, I don't know if you've seen Warlords of Draenor, the next expansion pack.
But they're doing like a whole
Yeah, all the character models are getting bumped up big time. They're all
Make them not look
much
ugly
less-
as sin,
much-
and we'll talk.
right?
That's why I'm always wearing a helmet to hide my ugliness. I
Right.
think that
Okay,
covers
quick
that
thing,
topic.
quick thing. Now that you mentioned helmets, and this has to do with character customization, this is only in one game that I can think of, and it's the Dragon Age games, which suck because those games, or at least the second one, not the greatest game. There's an option in the menu that when you're wearing a helmet, you have the option so that when you go into dialogue, the helmet does not appear.
Oh, that's smart.
So you can wear your helmet and get your stat boost, except for when you talk, and it's just gone. You still keep the stat boost, but you don't see it.
Oh, but you know what? That reminds me of like how JRPGs are the worst for like, oh, you get all kinds of armor and stuff, but they never show on your character. What?
Yeah.
What?
You're still
What?
wearing the same weird
Like-
bathing suit that you wore in
like
the beginning of the game.
Ethereal ultra armor of like Dragon Balls, and then it's oh, you're just still wearing a t-shirt and pants.
Yeah.
Or something.
And it's an ugly t-shirt with like some weird leather strip across the top because it's a JRPG.
Makes me mad. That Sharky Hat, you know who you are.
No matter what you do, you look like Titus.
Do we really need Mass Effect 4? Not at all. Not at all. It concluded. The story is...
Okay, well, I would counter that by saying the developers at BioWare have said straight up, don't call it Mass Effect 4 because it's not Mass Effect 4.
What are they making?
They're making a game set in that universe.
Okay, that I'm cool for, but not Mass Effect 4.
No, they said it's going to have nothing to do with Shepard. Nothing whatsoever.
You know who I want to be?
And they said don't expect to see any characters from the first three
Oh.
games at all. It is it's in its own thing, in its entirety.
Just I know who
Don't
I'd
put a
wanna
number.
be.
They said don't even put a number on it because if you put a number on it, you're doing a disservice to it.
If we could have one character, I want to be that high-class escort Asari from the Presidium.
Oh my god, I know who you're talking
I
about.
can't remember
and
her
I
name.
Is Shaira the consort?
Is that her name?
I think it's Shaira the consort.
She was like a little bit more mature, and like,
Yes.
she had like
and you and her do the mind meldy
Yeah.
thing, and you go, yeah,
because she's got some stories to tell.
she does.
Toad's got some.
Because she's a
stories to tell.
matriarch, so she's at that point in her life. She's got those stories. She knows what she's doing.
Like you could do so many games just with the Asari because they live so long.
Exactly.
Or I wouldn't mind playing on what's Garrus's people called? Oh God, I can't think of it. Oh God. No, Tyrion, not Tyrion.
Turian.
Turian, not Tyrion. That is a dwarf from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Turian. Yeah, I remember that because of the weird little in joke we had. Was with what it was is you know how Mass Effect 2 like you could go in the bathroom now.
Yes.
I had this joke where it's like I imagine going into the bathroom and like you're Commander Shepard and you're standing at the urinal and Garrus is standing next to you and he leans over and whispers in your ear, "You ever see a Turian's dick?" And like the awkward situation that would ensue.
Here's I love Mass. I love them. I think
I love Mass Effect.
Not only do I love the story,
My last name is Shepard.
so you just got to be like, okay, they're talking to me. I love those games. I love the world that they built. I love everything about those games. Everything about those games, legitimately. And I love the way the third game ended. No matter how much people hate it, no matter how entitled they are to think that they have
400-page write-up. Did you see that today?
Like he has the rights to tell someone how to make their product. You know what I mean? But regardless of how people feel about the ending, I loved that game. I loved the trilogy. I loved how it ended. I loved the world, and I want more of it. I want more in that world.
Honestly, the universe is so expansive. Like it could be like Star Wars, where they could do anything with it. Like Star Wars, there have been like the X-wing pilot games, and there have been first-person shooters, and there have been third-person RTS games. Like
there could be an entire game.
There could be like a Starship Troopers one with like what are those big bug guys called?
And Starship Troopers?
No, in Mass Effect.
I haven't. What I was trying to say was I actually have never played Mass Effect.
Oh, you're thinking of the
Rachni Starship Troopers. Make it happen.
But to me, it's kind of like asking was Halo 4 needed since Halo 3 was the ending of it technically. But since the universe is so, just like you guys said, it was so big. There's so many more stories you can tell and expand on it way more.
I mean,
but then that brings up a good point here. That brings up a good point. Bringing Halo 4. Halo 4 technically doesn't need to exist.
It doesn't.
But if you look at the way that they wrote Halo 4, it proves its own relevance and necessity for sequels. It's not like it's like, oh, here's a story of Master Chief fighting on a Halo, and there's no need for it to continue. It's like, spoilers incoming. Oh, look, it's Master Chief. The Forerunners are back. Oh my god, we learned that humanity had an empire before, we were all devolved by the freaking Didac and his plans, and now the Didac is coming back. Like, if the writing itself can explain a reasoning for its existence, like if it can explain why I need to be enjoying the story, then I'm okay with it. They make Mass Effect 9, I don't care.
Unfortunately, like with franchises like that, they don't like to let go of their flagship characters. Like I'm happy with a Halo game where I'm not Master Chief. You know what I mean?
That's why
I thought Reach and
ODST. I liked ODST a lot.
So did I.
It gets a lot of hate though.
Yeah, because
I don't know why.
It got a lot of hate because a lot of people felt like they were overpaying for just a single player when a lot of people were into Halo 3 because of the multiplayer.
Right, of course.
So like they kind of felt like they were getting it's just ODST.
Well, their thing is that you were getting a map pack and a game, but they should have honestly just individually packaged ODST. Like they didn't have to put it together like that.
But I mean,
but it was still fun. It was very interesting.
To your question, we don't need Mass Effect 4, but that's why we're not getting Mass Effect 4.
We do need more Mass Effect universe, though.
We really do. Mass Effect is too good. I remember a while ago there was going to be a Mass Effect shooter. It's going to be made by DICE, and the early prototype was just a conquest game, and it was set, I'm about to nerd out on you, it was set during the First Contact War.
Oh, wow.
Which was when humans first went through the Soul Relay, and we discovered the Turians, and that was the first war that we ever had. And
that would be so intense.
And it was a first-person shooter, and you'd be driving Makos around the eight-legged car, the eight-wheeled cars with the gun
that cannot be flipped.
Exactly, the center of gravity on those things is so low. But it was going to be a squad-based shooter. It's going to be a big battle game, first-person, and you were going to have your little odd, misshapen Mass Effect guns that are curved up front but still have a scope. But even though there's nothing on this end that you would see out of. But eventually that was canned.
Science.
Exactly, science. More games in that universe are needed. Especially if BioWare is the one writing them. Because just their stories. You could put an entire game on the Citadel. And you could just do the exact opposite of Mass Effect and just say, this is going to be a tiny personal story about one man and his son on the Citadel.
See, I wouldn't have mind playing a campaign as Anderson and him and Saren and that sort of dynamic of their relationship falling apart, as they try to cooperate, but Saren does whatever the hell he does.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
There's just so much to that.
It is Saren, right? Am you the right one?
What character are you thinking of?
The one that doesn't want in the beginning. He's the first bad guy.
Yes, that's Saren.
Okay.
But there's just so
He's
many
the one
things.
who was a teammate with.
Exactly. I talk about it all the time with my cousin. All of Mass Effect takes place in the Milky Way galaxy. They could go to another galaxy. There could just be a galaxy where there's no humans.
Where there's
no aliens.
double Reapers.
That's what I'm saying. It's just so well done that you could have a game about the Reapers. A game where the Reapers are not even mentioned or hinted at. You could have a game with the Protheans, and in that galaxy and in that time period, or a game after our.
I wouldn't mind just playing as a Geth or something. Can you imagine like I said, the Geth have this hive mind, right?
Yeah.
So what if you had a character that was an artificial intelligence but was somehow disconnected from that?
Edie?
Yeah, imagine, but
yes.
Within the Geth society. Imagine you're the one Geth who's an individual.
Okay, so
and you have to live in this society.
So her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, her wasn't a part of a hive mind.
But still, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's so much that can be done in that game. The fact that you haven't played those games is a sin against man. It truly is. It's a catastrophe.
He hasn't played the first Bioshock game.
I've played it. I just never beat it. I beat most of it.
You haven't played Last of Us?
I don't own a PS3.
So?
He
doesn't have a PS3. He played Last of Us.
I'm supposed to have a PS3. I'm not saying
But games. You can pick up all three of those games for $15.
I'm going to.
$15 total.
I've been wanting to, but I'll get around to it.
God, so good. So good. So good.
You wanna? Let's do another one.
All right, here you go. This is from Corey Vincent on Twitter @RealCRV. Like the car? I don't know. I'm confused.
Corey Russell Vincent.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
I'm sure it's a Honda CRV.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the car.
Okay, Underinspired. How important is the game's soundtrack composition to immersion? Has a game's music ever ruined your experience? Yes.
What ruined your experience?
Oh my god, what game? I know, I can't think of one in specific, but I know I've played a game where I was like, what is the sound that I am hearing? And it has taken me out. And I know
There have
it's
been
specific.
games where I've had to like turn off the music because it's so repetitive.
Yes.
But that's usually like, mobile games. Not mobile, I mean like, Game Boy games. Not
Yes.
like
I mean, it all depends. I mean,
in RPGs. Some
just the
RPGs
other day,
just get me
I was playing with my group of friends, and we were playing Payday 2, which is admittedly not that great of a game. It has some fantastic ideas. It truly does, but it really poorly executed. But the soundtrack to that game gets you so hyped to commit crimes. Like, that game has like there's like almost no soundtrack before you put your mask on, and when you put your mask on, it kind of like, you get like this like sneaking, but then like as soon as the cop comes, it's just like techno, like pew 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 pew. I'm just like, yes, shoot, crime.
To answer the question directly, I think music is fucking
It's
essentially
super important.
It's just like a movie. Like, I challenge you to play any game that you love and go into the settings and just turn music off, and it's weird. Yeah. It's like, you ever like remember like being in school and like you're sitting around, you're talking to people, and then like the AC unit cuts off. It's just like
silence.
You just hear the silence, and it's
and
like
you didn't even realize
that
you were hearing
it.
something.
Yeah.
But then once it's off, you're like, wow, it's so quiet.
But like all right, I'm gonna say Bioshock Infinite. Like, their score was great, freaking amazing. So like, but without that, it would have been half the game that it was.
Halo, the go-to example.
Halo 3, dude. Just like when you're like seeing the armies like going at each other, the music.
Yeah.
What are your examples?
For me, Uncharted 3 is a very good example for me. I downloaded the soundtrack as soon as I beat the game, and literally like the point, if you played the game, you would know what I'm talking about, where you get stranded in the desert. That entire sequence, the soundtrack is some of the best gaming soundtrack like songs I've ever heard. Like, it's so well orchestrated. And the soundtrack to Ni no Kuni, which literally makes you feel like you're actually playing a real anime. Like, it just came from TV to in your hand and you're just playing it.
Or
so
like, I'm gonna continue. I'm sorry, I want to cut you off.
Like, what's another good one? Last of Us is a good one. Like, there's what is it called? Shadow of the Colossus. That's another good one.
I
love the soundtrack to Shadow of the Colossus. It just, to me, brings immersion because it's just
it's emotion. It really is.
It's really a lot of emotion, and it helps with the mood of the game, and it helps build up to what, like, it makes you feel like what your character is doing sometimes is more important sometimes. Like, especially if you're doing like a boss battle or something. When a certain music, like when you said you're playing Payday and then that music, the electronic music comes on, you really feel like you're in the moment and you really feel like you're
I'm willing to say that as far as like sound goes in a game, like sound effects and music is the color of sound, if that makes sense. Like like take a movie and take away the color. That's what it's like if you take away the music.
Yes.
Deep.
I mean, for me, I think some great examples of music are the scene in Red Dead Redemption when you finally get to Mexico and Jose Gonzalez's Heartbeat or something like that comes on. It's a Jose Gonzalez song. I forget the name of the song, and it's just you just driving, just riding your horse through Mexico, and it's a song about being alone and just like having nothing. That's what that song's about. And you're like, well, guess what? I'm alone now. And this guy screwed me over. Now I'm farther away from my family in a country that I don't speak the language.
Red Dead had a really good soundtrack. Like when he was first like going back to see his family again. I forgot what the song was called, but like that was like a really like mood changer. Like everything just felt like it was just coming to a close soon, but it didn't, and then everything just kind of got subtle, and then
or like I think it's a great example when a song means something to a game. Like where the like if you play Bioshock Infinite, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but if you play Bioshock Infinite, in the beginning of the game, there's a quartet that's singing like I May Not Always Love You. And they're singing this song, and it's beautiful the way they sung. It's beautiful. But then once you beat the game and it's playing on the credits, you're like, whoa!
Okay. All right, I'm sorry.
That song takes on a whole new meaning.
This is gonna be a little lame right here, but I gotta like shouts out for 12-year-old me and Nick is Getting Away with Murder by Papa Roach in Mech Assault 2 Lone Wolf for Xbox. You get in the blood after it's like boom 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 boom. And it's just like, oh, I'm badass! It's like, it's that moment. Also, I have to mention Fez because I know somebody who likes the Fez soundtrack.
No, but I think, like it all depends. Like, it helps build this mood. It really does. Like, will the circle be unbroken in Bioshock Infinite?
Oh.
That's such a good song, and it happens so many times throughout the game, and so many different ways. Like, there's that choral chant, that choir chant in the beginning of the game.
Fallout 3 with like the radio stations. Oh, jeez.
I don't want to set the world on fire.
We talked about this in a previous save point, I think.
I think we just talked about Fallout, like
Yeah,
the soundtrack from that, but not the importance of the music.
And then again, going back not to Infinite, but just regular Bioshock, just that 1960s, 1950s, like pre-doo-wop music. You know, like how much is that doggy in the window?
Even just like.
Please, you know what I'm talking about, right? If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, please look that up. I'm not just saying sentences.
Even just like the orchestral, like when you're first going
Rockin'
to
Robin.
Yes!
Rockin'
Robin.
Rockin' Robin. Ba, ba, ba.
Oh my god.
We did sing that in music when we were in like 3rd grade.
I'm sorry, continue.
Oh no, I was saying when you're first going to Rapture, and then Andrew Ryan does that like amazing introduction, and when you finally see Rapture, like
that swirl of strings.
beginning of Infinite.
Yes.
Like music to me is just probably like in the top 3 of most important things to you.
Oh, totes.
Definitely.
Totes.
I mean, you could just say all of the Halo soundtrack.
Yeah. I remember
Marty O'Donnell, that's his full-time job. He is a full-time composer for video games. For one company, that's his job. Because they take it that seriously.
When he was talking about the Halo 3 soundtrack, the first thing that came into my mind was the first time I saw the Halo 3 trailer when it first got released. And as soon as I saw it, and Master Chief came in through like all the like the dirt, like
the smoke,
smoke or whatever, and then like the ground opened up and it was.
And that's just like a piano chord. That's just a handful of notes on a piano. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Then that can change. That can change everything. That really can.
I think some soundtracks that kind of take me out of things is because, just like you said, repetitiveness is some older cartoony kind of games, like maybe like Jack and Daxter and stuff like that. But I think a good prime example of how you could make a good soundtrack flow really well with that style is Rayman. I think Rayman's soundtracks is really good. They make you feel like you're just on a TV cartoon show or something. Like, I don't know. Like,
I'm gonna reference one that I feel like not a lot of people know. Not a lot of people are gonna know this off the top of their head what song I'm specifically talking about. But if you look it up on YouTube, you'll see what I'm talking about. First off, I love Metal Gear Solid soundtrack. I think Metal Gear Solid has a great soundtrack, and that arrangement by Harry Gregson Williams is on point. But that's not what I'm talking about. There's a song in Metal Gear Solid 2 on the soundtrack called Fortune. And it's the theme of the character Fortune, okay? And if you know Fortune's backstory, she had her father was killed, her husband was arrested, and because of the stress of this, she miscarried their child, and all of this stuff. And then she thinks she can't die, and she thinks that the reason she can't die is the ghost of her father keeping her alive, so that she can't see her family, like punishing her.
Right.
And when you hear that, it does toward the end do the Metal Gear Solid like techno thriller kind of beat, but in the beginning and at the end there's just a saxophone, just a single saxophone or like a trumpet with a mute.
Dude, that's
just
all
like
you need.
the saddest thing. Like you hear it and you're like, I know she hates her life.
Yeah.
I hear this and I know she wants to kill herself.
There's one more I have to mention because I think it has examples of both the best and worst, and that is the Final Fantasy franchise.
Yeah.
Some of the music for Final Fantasy is amazing, and some of it is repetitive as fucking shit. Like, okay, that's what I'm talking about. Like going from like the theme for Sephiroth, which is like hailed as being amazing, and like just like city music that's like this like little toony stuff that's repetitive and makes me want to die. So close.
I actually have 2 more, which is Dishonored had a really good soundtrack. I like the soundtrack for Dishonored, and one of my favorite soundtracks, even though the game was good, but it wasn't amazing. But Assassin's Creed 3 soundtrack was fucking brilliant. Like, have you heard? Assassin's Creed?
It was actually pretty strong.
Really good.
It was one of the better things about that game. It really was.
Yeah, I think it was the best soundtrack of 2012.
Ooh.
I would say so.
Dropping bombs over here, dude.
I don't even remember 2012, so I can't contest that.
Exactly. Was I even alive then? I don't know. So let us know what you think. What's your favorite soundtrack? And if you want to even go so specific, what's your favorite song in the soundtrack? If you just happen to know that.
And why?
And why? I'm gonna tell
What
you
did
right
it
now.
make you feel?
For me, it is Fortune from Metal Gear Solid 2. I love that. I could listen to that on repeat. Of course, it would make me cry, but I could just do that. You know, it's okay. I'll do it in the shower.
Mine's the empty quarter from Uncharted 3, or I think it's called Home on Last of Us, the soundtrack. What's yours?
Oh, my favorite. Oh God, don't do this to me. Does it have to be written for the game?
No, as long as if it's adapted.
Yeah.
If it's adapted, it works.
I hate to say it because everyone's gonna say, will the circle be unbroken from Bioshock Infinite?
No.
But it's not mine. Mine's actually Fortunate Son from
Bro.
Bioshock Infinite 2. When that started playing, I was like, wow, because that's when shit hit the fan. Like
Fortunate
that's when
Son-
the war broke out.
Fortunate Son in everything that's ever been about Vietnam ever. Every game and movie and TV show and everything.
So good, so good.
It is. Let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't. And
Yeah.
if you've made it this far in this video, I commend you.
And like our Facebook.
Oh, we broke 100 likes. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, yes.
102 likes on the Facebook. All right, goodbye.
Ocarina of fucking Time.